it is clear that there were multiple factors that caused Wilson to look different and walk around and say, well, what happened to that house? Remember that neighborhood? Remember what happened? And we often, those of us who recruit up, would go back and say, man, this does not look anything like, well, it's not one thing. It's multiple things that took place. What I would go back, and I would say from my humble perspective, that a part of it was as we came of age, we no longer sense this thing of community. We no longer sense that, because then every child was everybody else's child, and you couldn't do things. You couldn't get away with things. But then, when that fabric sort of kind of dissipated, then all of a sudden it's, well, that's not my child, or that's not my this, or I'm not responsible for that. And am I my brother's keeper? We're always our brother's keeper, right? Always, and in a very real sense. And so, struggling to rebuild community. And so, again, I apologize for the very long responses, but that's in my humble assessment. That's what has led to these kind of pockets of deprivation and watching. And you've heard this, read it, I'm sure, about Green Street. And I was growing up, Green Street, those trees were so huge. And they were like a canopy, just like pretty much what Raleigh Road is, right there at the Recreation Park, all the way down to Wood Boulevard. It felt like that. It was that. And then to watch, because I grew up seeing the transition. You know, I walked to school down Green Street, down Vic to, to Viola, to San Vic, to Reed. So I walked through that, all of my contemporaries, so forth and so on, and watch almost, yearly, not literally, but over the course, let me better say, over the course of time, and to see what happened when those pillars, when they died, and no one took their place.
A lot of good history here in East Wilson, and especially during the times that you want to go back to times, there's some things that by going to Garden High School, even though it was the last, what we say, segregated class, they taught us a lot, to do a lot with a little or nothing, with what you have. Because at that particular time, we always had books that were left over from Fife High School that they sent over here. I never had new books. Never knew what new books was at that time. But what it is that we use what we have, and a majority of the individuals that graduated did go on to college because of the motivation that the teachers at that time gave us. And we didn't have a lot, and a lot of people didn't expect a lot from us. But we did achieve. It took some of us a little longer than others, but the point is the end game of what happens. And all of the guys that I used to hang with was about 8 of us that hung around who always told us, we'll never do anything, we'll never have anything, we'll never be any good, because we were part of what kind of a class system that it had at that time. 9 out of 10 of us got degrees. And the other one went to the service, and he's doing well too. All of us, I can count and say 1, 2, 3, they have at least a 2-year degree or more. I think it was about 8 of us. That was in a group that we all hung around, did all kind of crazy things, and had a lot of fun. But the motivation came to the point that when people told us what we could not do, we all achieved.
Right. Recall.
Well,
Because you were there for many years, right?
yeah, from the 4th grade through, I would say that the teachers that were there had your best interest at heart, and they cared for you, and it was a learning environment that was really good for us,
Right.
you know. And that was like all we knew. It was like an extension of family, because we walked from home to the school.
That's a pretty good walk from all the way over
We
there.
never rode a bus. I guess we probably didn't have buses. I'm sure we did not.
Right.
But we walked there, and it was a good walk. And but to me, since that was the only thing that we had, I thought there was no fighting. We didn't have gangs as I knew
Right.
today. So as I say, it was a caring experience, because it seemed that all of the teachers cared for you. All the children that went there, they knew each other. You know, it was like one great big family, because you know you weren't from across town or here and there, because we were all, you know. I started walking from Stantonsburg Street and High Street and came up to Carroll Street right here where this is located, and then right on over to Darden High School.
And that's something we've got from other people we've spoken with is, you know, it seemed like the teachers, administrators, faculty, it seemed like they always had the students' interest, you know, at heart or whatever, because, you know, it was almost like they were an extension of the family, you know, they took care of it. It seemed like it was the same way, I guess, through the church too.
Yeah, and another thing I can remember very vividly, I put on some lipstick because I thought that, you know, teenage. And there was one teacher, and I never will forget her. She called me in and she talked to me. And it was so, and I remember today that that's the kind of thing that we wish we could have. Someone that could tell you how interested they are in you, and this is not what you should be doing at an age like this. Very appropriate, and I like that.